Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be making a catch-all tray for my daughter while she's doing her Bead Tec work. This is going to be a pocket cut into some 27mm oak worktop. So what we've got is an x-axis is 220 with a y-axis of 250, and it's a 27mm slab. We're going to reference the project from the top left corner as always. And we're going to work from the material surface for our Z0, which is standard for me. So I'd like to introduce you to my daughter Esme. You can say hello. Oh, come on, you've got to speak louder than that. Oh, baby. Right, so I've got my daughter with me today. So we're just looking in. She chose the scales of this project. And what we're going to do is, because it's going to be for her to make bracelets and necklaces, I'm just working along the idea of adding kind of a ruler scale to the outside of it, working in centimeters for her, which is what, you know, Esme's used to dealing with at school. So this is where we're at. This is going to be the internal pocket cutout, and there is still going to be the outside profile cut, which I'll be cutting the internal out with a dish cutter, so it's going to have a nice rounded edge to help Esme with her fingers then pick up the beads. So yeah, I'm just going to work through this now and add all the painstakingly add all the numbers down to this scale. If anyone's come up with a better solution than manually creating every single digit, then please by all means drop us a note how you've made that happen, because this is fairly painful in all honesty, bringing them all across. So again, there probably is a better way of doing this, but I'm kind of centering them left and right approximately with, you know, the next letter, the next number, and then just bringing them down then so they kind of roughly meet half on our lines. So again, if anyone's got a better solution as to how they're getting around and doing rulers, yeah, go and grab your bracelet kit, honey. Yeah, if anyone can help me out with this, please by all means. So what I'm doing to move the letters around, to go with big spaces, I'm holding shift. To go with medium-sized spaces is just the arrow directions on the keyboard, and to go very, very fine, small movements is hold control, which is something I've found over time of just messing around with VCarve Pro. Phenomenal software, by the way. Absolutely love this software. So again, I'm just going to go down through and look at all of these, and then what we'll do then is we'll come back into the video again, and we'll start to look at then creating the sort of the different tool paths and seeing how that comes out on, you know, on a preview then before we start cutting anything. Okay, so I've got all the ruler measurements done, but in my lunacy I went ahead and created all the tool paths down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick run through on the tool paths, and what I've done is the first one I've created a clearance pass with an 8mm end mill, and then I'm going to finish off the outsides then with this ball nose cutter. It's actually a dish cove cutter, but it's pretty much the same thing. The machine doesn't know any different. We've got a 27mm piece of oak, and we're going to cut 15mm into it to create this dish. We're going to ramp our moves in by 6mm. We're going to do a climb cut as an offset as opposed to a raster cut. We're going to do it as an offset cut, so we're just going to go round and round in spirals. So again, what you see now is we're going to have this dish. So I'm actually going to change this dish size now, and I'm going to bring it in slightly and move this ruler across a little bit. But you can see with this ruler, it's actually being done as a profile pass, 1mm deep with a 60-degree V-bit, is how I sort of get this. If I change that to a V-cut, it doesn't come out very well, it doesn't translate very well. Now again, to be fair, if I go into this, these letters only stand, I can't remember now what they are, they stand 5mm tall, thereabouts. So I'm a bit dubious as to how well they're going to come out, but in all honesty, oak's pretty good, and if it's really pooped, then I can just skim the top off and lose the rulers, to be fair. So what we're going to do while we're here is we're just going to bring this dish in a little bit, and what we're going to do then is we're going to pick this little lot up, And we're going to bring that over ever so slightly. And the idea is what Esme can do then is this being a 0 centimeters, she can start getting used to measuring out then pieces of elastic then to make her Bead Tec bracelets. And you know, at 190, that's kind of, she could almost double up then and make that into yeah, make that into a necklace.
I'm actually in the process of making a bracelet.
So you're making a bracelet and a necklace as we speak. See, it's a shame we haven't got face cam, isn't it? Right. So again, what we've done is we've moved that across. I could have just right clicked on here and asked it to recalculate, but you know, I've done it now. So as you can see, that's what we're going to end up with effectively. You can't see it on here, but I've added 2 tabs all the way round. So as we mount the workpiece down, that's going to give us sort of 8 tabs then to hold it all in place. So the tabs I've done are 3D tabs, 25mm wide by 8mm tall, and that'll be more than enough to hold that in. We're going to have a smooth plunge at 5mm depth of plunge for this outer profile cut. We're going to cut 28mm, so it's going to be 1mm through, and again we're using the same 8mm end mill. So that's 12 passes around there, but as you can see we're moving it sort of 4.5 meters a minute, so it will soon sort of that doesn't matter anymore. So it'll soon work its way around. Even at 12 passes, it would be fairly quick. And what I've started to do on a lot of projects now is to actually do a separate last path at 0.01 mil in the reverse direction, and it just fractionally skims that surface then, its outer edge surface, and just gives you a cleaner sort of finish. You see less wetness marks, you see. So we'll do the final calculation on that. And like I said, this is our intention of our bowl. It's going to be cut, like I said, in block board oak, effectively 27mm kitchen worktop. So yeah, so I'll save all the toolpaths off. We'll transfer all the files across to Smartbench, and we'll start with the clearance cuts, and we'll work our way through then. So yeah, we'll see you across at the bench in a minute. Okay. Hi, Ez, give us a wave.
Hi.
Hi. So this is my daughter Esme. This is my eldest, and this is going to be her catch-all tray that we're doing for a Bead Tec. So what we've got here is this lovely piece of 27mm oak. We're going to cut our 250 this way by 220. So what I'm just trying to work out is off of our 250, we want to avoid this terrible knot piece here. We're going to put 2 screws in here. We're going to come along to our 250, and again we're going to work out our 220, so we've got plenty of space to put some screws, and we're going to screw straight down into this 8 foot by 4 foot spoil board. You can see since the last video where I had the small spoil board, that would be more beneficial to this type work, and I'm thinking of going over to a new type spoil board, but you know, we'll see how we go. I'm using this 12mm, which effectively is how most people run their Smartbenches, and I'm finding it to be slightly flexible on the edges, but you know, we're working with it. So like I said, I'm going to work out now. I've come in here by 15mm, which is enough space then to get some screws, and I'm going to work out for my 8mm cutter. So again, off of here, if I come up to say 270, 250, if I actually work to there, I've got plenty of space to play with, so there's no point making it too fine. We can put a screw sort of here and here, and again across this space we've got 260, so what have I got, 20mm each side to play with again. So if I come in 20mm, yeah, just do a cheeky little pencil mark, and then from there we've got 220, okay. So when I put this spoil board on, I don't know how well the camera can pick it up, but what I've done was I set a 60mm V-bit, and I brought it down to the bench, and I just set it to do a 1mm cut, and I've done this manually straight off the console. of the Smartbench. So I literally just set it 1 mil past the surface and then just use the console just to run a straight line all the way down. Now that line is just inside of the Smartbench sort of exoskeleton bed frame. So I know actually I'm going to be screwing down into something substantial that's going to hold it. And what it does, it gets me away from these flexible sort of stripped edges then just on the edge of this 12 mil board. So I'm finding that way then I get a better accuracy across the X-beam. Hope that makes sense. So I'll just fix this down. Again, on this one I'm going to go quite crude. This is just going to be some screws around the perimeter.
Should I get my headphones on?
Not yet, honey. Don't need to worry about your headphones yet. What happened to those screws in the red box, babe? Oh, just there on the desk. Any chance I can have them, please?
Yeah.
So as I said, over on the software, we're effectively going to be registering our X and Y datum from over on this corner here, top left. So what I'm going to do is just roughly work out from about this point then where our 250 would come to. Okay, so this effectively is going to be where I'll set the laser datum to. Oh, just make sure the screen's on. Yep, you can see that. This would be effectively the corner I set the laser datum to. We'll have the measurements then for the ruler on this edge, and the dish bowl will be cut in the back there if I've done my job properly. So we'll just get this screwed down. What's that, babe?
See, keep it the thing.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just put these 4 screws in.
Okay.
So as you can see there, we're all fixed down now to the spoil board. I'm going to adjust the height of the X-beam, so it's going to sit up and over here. And again, I've come up with a new strategy. I used to space sort of 6 mil off of the surface, but I'm actually finding now on the X-beam you've got the small adjuster wheels. Off of those adjuster wheels, I put those onto the bed, and then effectively what I do is move those back out the way, and I just skim the surface by a couple of mil, and that's enough then for really good dust clearance without actually touching the surface, because it's such a small surface. I'm also finding that I'll just move you around. I find a point off of the ends of these X-beam bars where I can actually get a tape measure and measure them both ends to make sure that they're, you know, as near as damn it exactly the same. And I'm finding that really helpful now to get sort of accuracy then over the X-beam, because I have had it in the past where I'm slightly tipped on one side, and in fact that's exactly what I did to my old spoil board, is I got it slightly tipped. So once I figured out how to set this more accurately, all the projects were out, because actually the spoil board itself was out. So you know, so it's all a learning curve. It's all a learning curve. Anyway, I'm going to set the machine up now. Probably put you guys on a time lapse just because you don't really want to see me farting around. And then we'll take some footage then when it's actually starting to cut. Okay, so I'm at this stage now where I'm going to start setting the machine up. I didn't even say the Toolpath yet, so I'm doing everything a little bit out of sync, but oh, I am a bit under pressure with the young lady here. I'm trying to impress.
Hello.
So
That's me.
what we'll do now is we'll get this set up. So like I said to you, that was going to be our X and Y datum there. Okay, I'll just move the laser so you can see the pencil mark. Okay, that was going to be our X and Y datum. So set that off the laser. There we go, that's moved us forward. Again, I've got a 6mm cutter currently in this spindle, so I'm going to drop this cutter out now and get a new cutter I actually purchased from Rennie tools. Looks like a bit of a beast. Is this the one? No, that's a 6. There we go. An 8x22, which we were going to cut sort of what 15mm into this, so 8x22 straight cutter from Rennie tools. I've got to be honest, I'm using the straight cutters more and more again. I went over to end mills. Now we will be cutting this outer edge profile with an end mill, because obviously I don't have a straight cutter with a deep enough cut depth, but I bought this 8mm bad boy, so it'll be the first time trying it out as a clearance pass. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to here, and I'm going to set myself up an area where I Z0 from. So I want this Z0 to be pretty accurate, because I'm going to be setting up this 8mm as a clearance pass, and then I've got somewhere a dish cove cutter from Axminster tools. So it's not effectively a full ball nose, it's got a nice tight curve in the bottom, which I think would be really good for Esmo when she's trying to grab hold of these little beads in this small tray. It gives her something just to slide the edges up. I've had good results so far from this cove cutter, you know, but as you can see, it is starting to gain a bit of resin on it, so we'll probably give it a bit of a clean up before we let it rock and roll. So yeah, so I'll get the machine set up, we'll swap some cutters around, and we'll come back to you. Okay, just a quick note. So I put the touch plate down, and I drew a pencil mark around the touch plate. So the idea is I can bring the Z head, you know, pretty much back to the same location, and line the touch plate up in the same way every time, in an effort then, as I'm changing tools, I'll get theoretically sort of a fairly symmetrical, consistent Z0 then. I've had a few issues in the past with Z0 and getting it absolutely, you know, spot on to within sort of, you know, 1/4 mil. Spoke to Yeti about it, and obviously they're saying that this is all, you know, all of the Z0 is all done mechanically, so there shouldn't really be any issues with performance in that regard. However, these are just little extra measures I go through to try and make sure the Z0 is as accurate as I can get it between different tools. Right, okay, so I've just moved the file over from the laptop over to the Yeti Smartbench. So at this stage, we'll just see what files load. There we go. So there's Esme's dish, 8mm bowl clearance pass. So that's the first pass we're going to do. So I'm going to select this one, and we are going to check it for errors. I always check my jobs for errors, just, you know, even if I'm pretty certain I've got it right, I always check them for errors just on the off chance. You never know, I might have forgot to put the Z0 or something like that. We'll put the old dust port in the back. Okay, so that's saying it's happy, and we're going to press play. We're going to select for a router cut. We're going to select it so the head will remove from the job. Yep, and we're ready to press go. So the only last thing we've got to do is the good old remote and select the vacuum. So let's see how we get on.
so if you come over this way, yes. So what we've done is we've cut the bowl. So we've cut the bowl. That's both passes. You can just see the witness mark there between the dish cutter and the sort of 8mm cutter. So we've got a fair bit of clean up work to do. But as you can see, that grain line, that's come out really nicely. So if you pan back a bit, Ez, you can see the ruler marks are all put in with the 60° V-bit. And we've gone a little bit further by adding Esme's TikTok, the TikTok tag in there as well for her. So that's now truly personalised for Esme. So if you have a look at this now, so what I'm running with is 8x42mm upcut end mill. So this is a big old beastie, this one is. So the Smartbench itself will take a maximum of a 10mm upcut, well 10mm shank, sorry. So we're running an 8mm shank, and the next pass we're going to do is we're going to go round and cut the outer profile passes on all of this with, remember, we've got 2 tabs each side, 3D tabs, 8mm tall by 25mm length. So we're going to get all those cut, and effectively then it is a bowl. So I usually run this cutter at around about 18,000 RPM and about 4.5 meters a minute feed rate. I'll take a maximum of about 2.5mm depth pass. I think this is set for 2.5mm, but in all honesty I think 2mm is a slightly kinder pass. And remember, we've got that final clearance pass or finishing pass then at 0.001 of a mil, just to take a final skim. So I'm just going to clean out the gantries. Right, you stay there. You stay there. So one thing about the Smartbench is cutting sort of oak and stuff like that the way I have been, you tend to get a bit of build up in the gantries at times, and especially once the wheels have been rolling over it and it compacts down. It's not really what you want. You're going to end up with the Z head skipping and bobbing all over the place. So it's always worth every so often just sort of giving it all a bit of a sweep out and a clean up. And every so often I do actually spray silicone spray in there and just rub it in with a cloth, and I find it helps cleaning the X beams up a lot. Hello. So come over this way. So again, we're going to come back to our little space in here where we've drew the outline of the touch plate. You're making this really difficult, that camera there. Okay. So effectively every toolpath we've ran, we've located the Z0 from exactly the same position. You know, they're all thereabouts. I don't really think you can make it more accurate than that, to be fair. Put the dust shoe back on. So we're going to select from memory the final toolpath now, isn't it? We've done the inside bowl clearance, we've done the inside bowl with the dish cutter, we've done the V-bit for the measurements for your little ruler, we've done the V cutter for beaded by Ez, the inside of the bowl. Do you think that's cool? I've got that to go in the bottom there like that? Right, so 8mm profile cut. So I think this is the last one now. And then we can pop it out of there, tidy it all up. You can sit there forever with some sandpaper and make it super smooth.
Okay.
Right. Ready? Okay, this is going to start moving in a minute, mind.
I know.
Look, that's supposed to show me a picture of what we're going to cut, but it's always like that. Oh, hang on. So any minute now, that's going to kick into life. Got that shoe on. Right. Okay, so that is effectively the CNC where it finished. We're going to go around this with a round over and take some of the harshness away from the edge soon. I'm going to pull it all out. We're going to use a flush cut bit and we're going to take away these tabs you can see down in here. So these are our 3D tabs, little triangular shaped tabs. Can you see them in there? Can you see me in there? Yeah, as you can see, you've got at Beaded by Ez, which I think is a nice little touch. Me and Esme chose the font between us as well. So yeah, effectively there's the makings of Esme's little catch-all tray for her Bead Tec stuff. So while I've been working away on this, Esme's actually been sitting here, sitting here making some different little bracelets. So this is effectively what her new little catch-all tray is going to replace. So these are little bracelets she's making. Quite cute, aren't they? So these are her little kits. So the idea is she can use a spoon. She can tip out then all the different. It's just one of her kits. She's got loads. So the idea is she can tip out what bead she wants into that catch-all tray and access them nice and easily. Alright. So there's a Smartbench there having a rest. So what a phenomenal piece of kit, eh? Designed very quickly and efficiently on VCarve Pro, and then cut out then in, so how many toolpaths was that? Clearance, finishing edge pass, ruler, beaded by Ez, and outer edge profile, so that's 5.
And the you got to paint the things.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the different ways that this cut. There's 5 different ways that it cut to finish it. So what do you think so far? Yeah? Happy?